African Supermart.
The owner of Sawane Import and Global Grocery.
I'm the manager of Bantaba Restaurant.
This is my boutique. It's Anna's Closet.
Money does not go on three.
No matter how long I live in America, Gambia is my home. That's what I have.
Mangi judo fast njaga choy. Mangi grow up in Bakau.
Business in United States, not only in the US, everywhere in the world right now, business is challenged.
Looking into many different kinds of businesses, I think this is the best thing to do, and it's really working out for me.
I've been here for about 16 years.
I came here in 1989.
I have like 3-4 jobs that I do.
My advice is for other young Gambians to focus on what they want to do. Education is the key to everything.
Have a vision, have a purpose, and don't let anybody tell you you will never succeed.
I am Anna Sayang.
Ibu Bah.
Ajinda Idafe. Ulay Sayus.
Ibrahim Adiba.
Mohamed Sawane.
Fatu Diba.
Abdullailo.
Jalimari Jobate.
I'm very proud.
I am proud.
I am a proud Gambian.
Embracing this ground, my people, my town, celebrating with this.
Hello, this is Sherin Chapa Chole. Welcome to my house. Chapa Chole means somebody, who will just wake up one day and, rise. And that's exactly what I did. I just sit in my house one day, start making videos. And today, you know what? I have $1 million platform right there. I work as, my job in Seattle, I work as a security officer. Most of the people know me as a comedian. That one is a hobby, because I love to make people laugh. If you don't
like me, hey, you don't come across. If you secretly hate me, you don't come across. Hey, if you don't like me, you secretly watch me. Some are fool.
I'm a proud Gambian. I'm proud of my country, and I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of being a Gambian.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen from the various schools and the media personnel here present. We are today here marking the launching of a very important program, that is the CAF Pan-African School Football Tournament. Some of us can recall that CAF sometime last year introduced the pilot phase of the Pan-African School Football Tournament. It's a tournament geared towards giving opportunity to the young girls and boys that are school-going children to start showcasing their talent at a very early age. The tournament is for players that are actually under 15, boys and girls. And the tournament will be in 3 folds. The first fold will gonna be a national championship. For us in the Gambia, we are here today to launch our national championship. All member associations that have their applications approved are to organize their own championship in the way and format they desire. A deadline is given for the completion of the tournament and winners to be declared to CAF before July 31st. But before going further, let me throw back that this tournament didn't just come that every member association was given the opportunity to just enter. Yes, it was open for all member associations to apply. There were procedures, criteria that were put in place, and deadlines were sent. When the applications came, the Gambia Football Federation with its drive to develop football, especially at the grassroots, deem it necessary to apply. Our application was approved and we followed all necessary due process and met all the deadlines. Thus, we were among the associations that were selected to take part in the maiden edition. That is how everything came about. So the first phase, like I said earlier, is the national championship. Our champions for both male and female will represent us in the regional championship. Like I said, the regional championship is the second fold. We are in the WAFU Zone A region. So if we happen to compete in the WAFU Zone A region, other regions will also compete as per their champions. The champions within the regional championship will also converge and play in a continental championship. Like I said, it's in threefold. The final continental championship will be held in 2023, May. So all those registered players should not be above 15 come May 2023. So those are the criteria that we have followed. To set more light, it's not going to be an 11v11 also. The competition is going to be played half field. 7 infield players plus a goalkeeper, making it 8v8. I think when the documents were sent, we shared it with the School Football Association. We have a coordinating team where we met and discussed on the issue. Then later, the documents were transferred, sent to all schools. It was an open invitation. But luckily, when the screening was done, there were 12 schools male and 8 schools female that were duly qualified. So the registration process also entails certain criteria. There were schools that did the application, but when we did the vetting, they fall short of the criteria that should qualify them to play in the competition. So, like I said, the tournament going to be played in 3 phases. It will give our young players the opportunity to start playing organized football, exposing them to international competition. As I start playing international football and exposing them to international competitions at a very early age. So what I will do is to urge the schools, the teachers, and the players to abide by the rules and regulations of the competition, because CAF is not taking this lightly. The Gambia Football Federation and the School Football Federation, this is School Football Association, are not also taking this lightly. We are serious in what we are doing because we want excellence in what we are doing. So we'll hope one day that our champions will be able to play in the regional championship and hopefully get to the continental championship. So on that note, I'll hand over the microphone to the technical director. The technical director.
Or is it still morning? Yeah, first of all, my apologies. I came all the way from the training center and the traffic is not that good. And the Chan team is playing training, and either myself or Nyasi had to be there. So I decided to wait. And Nyasi, as the sole coordinator or part of the coordinators of this program, must be here. For me, if I can be here, is good. If I can't be here, I'm well represented. And I think we all know the importance of the school football. This age cheating has been lingering all these years over our heads, all African countries. And this tournament, if you look at it properly, the main objective is to tag the kids, because these registrations are already in the system in FIFA and CAF. So if you can tap them at this age, there is no way you can change their dates for them to play in under 17s or under 20s when they are above the ages. That is one. The second thing is competition. When we talk about training, we talk about preparation, you also prepare kids to be competing. The reason why we go until at a certain age, we start talking about win by day, win or die. There's nothing like win or die in football. I would rather say I either perform or die than to win or die. And what we want to put into these kids is to make sure they understand that football must be played in the proper way. We must teach them how to play, and to play properly, to compete properly, you must have to prepare properly, have the right infrastructures, materials, and human resources that needs to be in place for you to compete presently. So on that note, coming late, I don't want to talk much about these things because I think Nyasi has already elaborated on everything, but just to highlight these two important points. Why for the competition and why are we using the schools? And the last point is, I think the GFF is right to have a partnership with the School Football Association, because this is what CAF is using now. We've got academies, we've got kids in the streets, we've got a lot of things going on. But the reason why the GFF chooses to work with full school football is because it's an existing structure. It's an existing structure, and all kids, over 60, 70% of kids must be in the school system. So if you don't catch them in the school system, then go somewhere else, go to the academies. If you don't catch them in the academies, go to the streets where we have the festivals, we have other open tournaments that are played. So I think the GFF, or through the technical department, we are on the right track, working with an existing structure, which is the schools. On that note, I thank you all for coming, and I wish you people to have a successful tournament. Thank you very much.
Just that CAF requested us to do. Like he said, all those schools that applied have seen the forms that were sent to them. There are schools that didn't even try it before they said it's really a bit difficult to go through all that process. Like I said, all students that are to take part in this competition will be registered in the FIFA Connect. And the moment you are registered in the FIFA Connect, your data is being captured by CAF and FIFA. So they have everything with regards to your information. So it's good that teachers or coaches explain this to the students. The moment you are captured in this competition, you cannot change your age anymore. So it's a form of trying to regulate the age issue when it comes to football at the early stage. So all these forms we've seen, we've given you birth certificates and everything, is to try to regulate the age issues. So I think the information that has been given to us is really accurate. And this is what we will use in terms of trying to track the development of the player. So on that note, I'll ask the president of the Gambia Football Federation, the School Football Association, to give a statement.
I want to speak loud because there are other.
No, in fact, I don't have to hear. He's here, so in fact, and then thank you very much, Mr. Nyasi, chairman of the occasion, also GFF grassroots and youth football manager, the technical director of Big Brother, the president of the Gambia Schools Sports, Secondary Schools Football Association, and also president of the Gambia Teachers Union, Ismail Sisi, members of the schools sports and school football, Mr. So, Mr. Jami, and the rest. I've seen our regional coaches, Bacha, Dumbuya, and others. Just I've seen the various coaches from the schools, P teachers, and teachers, GFF communication manager, Big Brother, Mr. Coach, Mr. Sambo Ellis. Good afternoon to all of you, not forgetting the ladies and gentlemen of the press. Good morning. I think it's still good morning. This is a very historic occasion, which is setting the pace for the launching of our participation in the Pan-African Schools Football Competition. We are all aware that this initiative was launched by the current FIFA president, Mr. Patrice Motsepe himself, by donating from his foundation an amount of money towards this project. And he's been ably assisted and supported by the FIFA president, Mr. Gianni Infantino. We at GFF, we can only be proud of our achievements in this area. The initiative, as alluded to by the technical director, we started collaborating and working with the schools, secondary schools football association as a partner with delegated responsibility to implement our youth football program. You are all aware that we've been implementing this since the past years, and until last year or year before last, when the partnership with the GT Bank expired, it was a 4-year contract or agreement where the principal's cup is played at the stadium after a nationwide tournament. That notwithstanding, GFF in partnership with the Secondary Schools Football Association has been conducting nationwide competitions over the years. And when this initiative was launched by CAF, for us, we said we are already home, but it's not new to us. Nobody's redirecting us. It's only to give us more support, technical guidance, financial and other logistical arrangements to improve on what we've been doing very well. So as I said, for us in Gabdiswa, it's not difficult for us to start. We really want to thank the secondary schools Football Association for the collaboration and the support over the years, sometimes under very difficult conditions, but we all struggle to ensure that we have these tournaments in and out, except during the COVID period. And sometimes we, due to certain time and financial constraints, it is scaled down, but we never missed it. The importance of this tournament cannot be overemphasized. The reason why GFF turned to the schools to ensure that in implementing our grassroots and youth football, it all boils down to the issue of age. This is a phenomenon that is hanging over on Africa over the years, and we thought when we look at our developmental aspect of football development, I will agree that we have to turn to the schools. This is why even the regional coaches, one of their terms of reference is to work and collaborate with the schools. And we had some interaction with even the PE teachers. Some training programs were organized, even to capacitize and support the PE teachers, because we all have the same objective. Some of us, as young as we are, could recall the heydays of school competition, school sports in this country. But for many reasons, it almost died down. And I think the most recent before we reactivate was the one that's been supported by Shell Company and all those things. But we are trying. I think the fundamental issue here is I'm no more worried about the issue of age and other malpractices. Recalling the recent position, very strong position, very brave position, very courageous position of the school's football administration, led by the president himself, to ensuring that cheating has no place in sports. You've all seen the last competitions when he would not mince his words, and neither would he, tamper his actions when it comes to taking the rightful decisions against those who really are trying to instill or to implant dishonesty or cheating in sports. It's not fair. So for me now, I'm very much relieved seeing that we don't have any problems anymore, TD. So from now on, those who will compete in this very important competition, when they graduate to other levels, I'm sure, no doubt, that they are going to form the core of the respective youth national teams, because the coaches are all around, they're involved in the scouting, and they're also going to participate in the mentoring and then in the career development aspect of it. So we have no doubt that really we're going to have the right people at the right time. Please let us be very supportive and collaborative. We are not doing it to anybody. We are just doing it to the kids. If you bring a 25-year-old kid, you tell him you register as under 17, you are not helping him. Because by the time he reaches you expect him to give his maximum, his potential is slowing down. and he will have that. Human being. Everybody has a conscience. Deep in him or her would have thought, had I known, I would have participated in it. And I don't want not only averting the potential national embarrassment and the punitive actions that could ensue from the other football governing bodies, but the athletes themselves, you are not fair to them. And this is really very important. I really want to undermine, especially from the coaches and the parents, because quite often, with all due respect, you are the main culprits. You want to win, and the TD has said, yes, sports, you want to win, but for football, at the developmental level, winning is not an issue. This is why hardly there are even cash prizes. What the important thing is for you to be able to move to one state to the other. But if you want to depend on winning, you want to win, you go and bring people with already 3-4 kids. You want to put them so that they can. It's not fair. They will deny the right, those who have the genuine, at least the right position. But they themselves will not be able to sustain it. And when they give their back, we are the same people who will be cheering them in the pitch. We'll be same people who will be backbiting them and then slandering them in their back. Please, let's be fair to these kids. Let's give it to the right people so that at the end of the day, they can at least be with us for the next decade or two. We've seen it. I don't want to take an example, but we've seen some of the world-class players today. Some of them, when they were competing at the both regional and continental youth championships, some of them had spanned a period of more than 10 to 15 years, and now that they are peaked. So we have to be very careful. The Gambia Football Federation will not relent in our efforts to ensure that grassroots football development is top on our agenda. And then we continue doing that, but we also will not compromise the ensuring that we have the right people for the right teams, so that at least what we are doing, what we are developing here today, can really benefit us tomorrow. Otherwise, before they reach their potential, they are out. Then we have to take the trouble of going back again. So really, that's not helpful to us. So I want to congratulate the technical director and his department for really for the monumental work, the task. I know it has not been easy. Quite often I've come across the volumes of documentation, the series of virtual meetings, the hours they spend on virtual meetings, and same for the schools football. I know the series of meetings, engagement we had with the technical department, both at Football House and also at the Technical Training Center. This is a collaboration that we all cherish and will nurture to ensure that it reaches fruition for the benefit of the athletes and the country at large. So whilst we've seen a very successful tournament, and I want to reassure you of the unflinching support of the Gambia Football Federation in this endeavor, because it's our baby. At the end of the day, it's the Gambia. Because we are doing our local tournament here. When we cross the boundary, our winners cross the boundaries of the Gambia, getting to WAFU A, then it's no more schools football, GFA, it's the Gambia. And we are lucky also to cross the boundaries of our zone, WAFU A. We composed of 9 countries from Cape Verde, Mauritania, Gambia, Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Mali. And then I have no doubts with the talents that we have here, certainly we reach the continental final. There's no doubt about that. On a last note, just to reassure ourselves and to really to express our pride in this, meeting a Spaniard, a coach who is working for he's the technical director of the Aspire Academy in Senegal. We know they have relationship with the Hawks Football Club. During one of their scouting missions here, the clinics that they organized here, the guy came into my office and he told me, President, Gambia is the only country where a kid is not taught how to play football. He told me that. He said, every child, girl or boy in this Gambia, as soon as he or she starts working, can play football. All they need is just orientation, development, talent development. So this is not a small thing. And to cap that, a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, the first vice president Bakar Jame also said, if you get into your car from Banjul to Koina, every town or village, even the fuller hamlet for my Sanakus, I do that. The fuller hamlet, there are 2 things that are not missing: a football pitch, despite its size, and nature, and a mosque, despite its size and nature. I think these are 2 things that are identical to this country. You don't miss that. Go to any place. BB, isn't it? Even sorry, BB, you have it there, isn't it? Okay, okay, okay. It's just a kind thing that we are trying to encourage. It's not. I'm not demeaning anybody. Huh? I think you understand that. Not okay. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure that we just to put more things on and more. When the serial comes, you also talk about Jolas. Yeah, that's make our life much easier. So on that note, Mr. President, congratulations and thank you very much for taking the director and all the best. Thank you.
Presi, you've talked about the collaboration between the Gambia Football Federation and the Schools Football Association. I can firmly assure you that that collaboration is now getting stronger and stronger. Getting us today has brought many meetings, many planning that we did together with the School Football Association, myself with the regional coaches, the technical government staff, and the School Football Association, Jamme, Dave, Alasansi, and others. We did all this planning getting here today. The president also talked about the objective of the competition. It's not about winning. It's about development. I can prepare a team, the president can prepare a team. My team can win the president's team. It doesn't mean that I'm a better coach than the president. But going future, the president's team can produce better players in the future going forward than my team. So the idea of this competition is to develop players for the future, so that at the end of the day, Gambia will have talented players that can be able to represent the country. So that's the idea. If you look at even the format, is 8 aside, 15 players per game. But if you look at the rules that were shared with you, is each player must play. Each player must play in every game, irrespective of what happens. So it's not about winning, it's about participation. Participation brings about development. He also talked about that prizes are not given because they don't encourage people just to look at only the prize to go and win. That is why what they gave out is balls, so that will be used to play football. As we play, then we develop. So that's the idea. On that note, I'll hand over the mic to the president of the School Football Association, Mr. Ismail Asise.
All right. Thank you. Good morning to you all. I want to start by observing all the protocols here present. Our today's gathering is a very, very historic one. It's historic, and at the same time, it's monumental in the sense that this is the first time of this kind of a competition coming up or organized by CAF, of which Gambia Football Federation is an associate or affiliated to CAF. Gambia Football Secondary School Football Association is being supported by the Gambia Football Federation over the past years. Since its existence, they are the major funders of our competition. And by looking at this competition, we've been working hand in glove with them from the beginning, since the concept was conceived by the CAF president, as been alluded to by the president of GFF. The technical director and the team, Nyasi and others, have been closely working with my technicians also at the level of the Gambia School Football Association, in the presence of Alasan C, Jamme, and So, that is the vice president. They have been working tirelessly. They have been meeting, having series of meetings. In fact, sometimes when they inform me that they are going for a meeting, I even begin to wonder what they are going to discuss again, because of the amount of meetings, number of times that they have been meeting. So our coming here today to launch this program, honestly, is very, very, very monumental. Being the first of its kind, and the nature in which the football, the tournament, the championship is going to be played, I know is new to most of us here. Because when he explained that it's just going to be a half-field court that is going to be used by 15 players, 8 aside, and then 16 players, right? 7 substitutes. So this is new. Like they said, they've been alluded to. This is just a matter of developing their capacity, developing their skills, making them become better players tomorrow. I know schools that presented a team, they will never regret it today. Tomorrow, they will have a better team if these students happen to stick together from where they are, because most of these kids are in grade 7 and grade 8 at most. If you develop them, you continue with them, let them be together. By the time they reach grade 12, these are players that can compete any other second or first division team here. If you see them playing, definitely you will see skills. So we have an opportunity, and we don't want this opportunity just to slip off from us. We all have a role to play to make sure this competition is here to stay. As long as CAF president wants this competition to move on, and I believe even if he is not in office, this is something that has been started and it will be continued by other authorities when they come into office. So here also at the level of GFF, they are always in trying to support grassroots, and they will make sure these grassroots competitions are given the full support as they have been doing before. So us here as PE teachers, we are the ones in charge of our teams. And according to the documentations that were sent to you, I believe if you read everything, you'll be able to understand in full-fledged, you'll be able to understand everything about this competition. That the competition needed a coach, it needed something like a guardian, safeguard, yes, and also it needed team manager, all right? These are things that are, in our usual competitions, we are only interested about what? A coach. But usually, at the level of schools, wherever children are going out, that has been there. That is a policy in education. Wherever children are going out, there must be a team leader. There must be someone that will be in charge. All right? The coordinator will be there, but there will be somebody that will be in charge. All right? That has always been there. Even whereas it's not a matter of sports or other things, other excursions or adventures, they always have all these 3 levels that are within. And usually the team manager are the ones that the administration will entrust with the funds and other stuff. And then the guardian will be the one that will be in charge of the students. Sometimes we, apply this gender stuff there. We bring in female, teachers to be in charge of the girls. And we have the male that will be in charge of the boys and so on. And we'll also have a coordinator. So these are things that are not new to us. But they are coming up so that at least we can also try to galvanize our own football team whenever we are going out. There are systems or styles that we can also copy and then put them into practice that will help us to at least standardize our competition. Other speakers mentioned about cheating, especially when it comes to age cheating. These are things that we have taken, the association started taking a tougher stance towards that. And we will never relent, as we promised to since our last year, the last press conference. Even with this competition that is coming up, I want to inform all of you that despite you have, registered, you fill in the forms, sent, they scrutinize it, to us, that scrutiny is still not enough. All right? They scrutinize it at their level, together with my guys, technicians. They did, and they, some coaches were called to say, yes, your athlete is over the age, this one is not available, the age bracket, blah, blah. By the time, maybe by August, this athlete will be 16. By September, this athlete will be 14. We don't need all those things. So some of them were dropped. They were seriously sieved. But we will continue. And I need all of you, I needed your support in that. I need your support. If you identify any player that you think that player and is above the age requirement that we are talking about or we are interested in, please give us the information. It will help all of us. That will help all of us, because age cheating is not helping. We are denying all the potentials out there in the classroom who they are supposed to be in the field. And we bring in a player, like he said, a player who started, in his career at the age of 35, because he doctored his age and he said he's 18. But after 10 years into football, he will be weak. That player will not be able to even play full 90. Coaches will realize that this one, instead of progressing, is retrogressing, is coming down. So those are things that we need to be very much conscious of. And I know with the kind of honesty that you people portray always, you will definitely join hands with us to fight against this age cheating. We don't want to be a subject of, become a victim of circumstance by, someone somewhere or even carved to say, but this particular player, don't you think this one is this and that and that? When a team has already been qualified to the finals, we don't want to be that. We want to provide the right base players with the right ages, so that at least they will have a very long career. Most of the African players are being queried. Not only Gambia, sometimes we may think that, yes, it's only here that this age cheating is happening. It's happening all over Africa. And most of the time, if you follow football news, because I'm part of almost about 6 different football pages, WhatsApp pages, some are international. But most of the time, African players have been pursued as a result of age problems. In fact, recently there was a Gambian player who was pursued, I don't want to name names. But these are things that definitely are disheartening. When we happen to hear this kind of news, definitely there are things that are not, welcome. We don't want to hear those kind of things. So let's try to open up a new page, a new chapter in the history of our football. We start from schools. It is the schools that are the solutions to football development. Schools. If you want to get the young ones, it's the schools. So, and we are the ones who are in charge of them. Let's encourage them. You may have a team, bigger boys, that you want them to take part in the competition. We'll come into that later. And I know most of you, even if I open the floor for questions, I will not be able to finish your questions today, because you are waiting to bombard me with a lot of questions. This is the man that you want to see so that you can ask series of questions. But we are not into that. And I'm sure you will not convert into being journalists today. Please don't ask me questions. Only the journalists will ask questions. Okay? Please. So let's try to avoid that. We will be looking into age issues while they are playing. We look at the players and we'll try to profile them. We'll try to at least follow them in their schools. We'll engage their principals, because their principals have been sensitized seriously concerning about this. And we don't want anything that is going to jeopardize our competition to come from the issue of age. Let it be other things, but not age. All right? So once again, I want to thank you for your support, because without you, we will not be here today to launch this program. You are pivotal in this competition. Whatever we are doing, you are the solutions. You are the people that we rely upon. We are the ones that you've elected in office to run the affairs of football and athletics for you and other sporting games. So therefore, we will be coming up with things differently that you may not even like. All right? But it's all part of it. But the issue of age, let's be careful. Let's try to, please, be conscious. And let us not cover each other. Then don't bother whether people said you are a hypocrite or so because you reported XYZ school. Any school that is found wanting of registering a player and is over 15, even if it is 2 months above 15, that particular school will be sanctioned for more than 3 years. Minimum sanction will be given will be 3 years. This is the maiden one. And maiden one punishments for this will be too grave, grievous. So we don't want anything like age problems to come from any school. If you know from this point, your school or the athletes you registered are above 15, please see those guys and tell them, I have a problem. Can I withdraw? And we allow you to withdraw. No problem. We will allow you to withdraw. No problem. Because if you start the competition, if we are to sanction you now, it will be lesser. But if you start the competition, the sanction will be, in fact, you may sit for 5 years without playing football. Your school. It will not be football. It will not be athletics. It will not be any other sporting games. Because age cheating, we don't want to compromise that one. The other part of my discussion with you will be school football. School football, the usual school football championship. And I believe, please, President and TD, excuse me to put that one to my guys. Yes, okay. Yes. School football. Mr. Jami, come and sit down, please.
Yeah. No, come.
Come and sit down.
You know, we are just here to make this volleyball.
Yeah. All right. I think the journalists later, if you have questions on both, you can please ask. School football will also be starting soon. And you all know the dynamics in school football are quite different from the Pan-African Championship. Before, the way we used to conduct school football, this year we have taken a different dimension. It is not business as usual because we are determined to standardize our activities to be at par with the federation in terms of selections of players into the various categories. We don't just want a competition that will just be a competition. You will not even know whether they are schools or they are not. Some of you who were in Mansa Conco during our finals, how many of you were there? Can I see your hands? Yes, you can fully recall the players that you have seen there. In some of the players that have been presented by schools, first division teams have been presented by schools. Sometimes you will see a particular school team which is almost entirely divisional players. No single Nevetan player, divisional players. It's not possible. Whosoever want to deny me, just challenge me. I said it. It's not possible. We may have some divisional players in schools, 1, 2, or 3 or so, but not the entire team. The entire team. Even when during the finals, I saw the federation members who were there, they were saying, look at this one. Especially female football, the female teams. They were all from the division, first division, second and third division. It's a problem. So we want to change the status quo. We want to bring in a new thing. And if you bear with us and ask questions, relevant questions, honestly, we will get to where you want us to take you to. This year, we introduced the issue of age bracket for the first time. Because I know the technical director and his team will not want to waste their time with us to say, okay, organize football, we give you money, and then we come and scout talents. Which talents are they coming to scout? There are no new talents, because the talents that are there, they are conversant with those talents. They are in the first division, second and third division. So there are no raw talents that they are coming to scout. And even if they don't come, it's fine, because the competition is basically baseless. So that is why this year we took a different dimension. We said strictly under 17. We have under 15, which is here to stay. So we are also coming up with under 17 this year, which is going to stay under 17. But many people, many of you, because you have been preparing your team from September, right? If I can get you right. Most, according to the feedbacks I'm getting from the pages, you have been preparing your team from September. And that team is what you wanted to present for this year's school football championship. But when we came up with this new rule, your spirits were dampened. And that is why there was a lot of queries. There were a lot of complaints. Of course, you are right to complain, but this is the association. When it comes to rules and regulations, he's here. He was a national team player. He knows a lot in football. That's why he's a technical director. And the same thing applies to him and her. All right? I might not know football. All right? I was not a player. Maybe I may be a Nevetan champion before, but never any of these divisional players. But one thing I know is football rules are not discussed or agreed upon at congresses. Technical director, am I right? Yes. Football rules. I want to put that very clear to all of you. Football rules are being discussed by the technicians within the association. When I attended CAF conference, CAF Congress, from the beginning of the Congress to the end, I've never heard of anything about like rules and regulations. Rules and regulations were never discussed. All right? This is just to enlighten each other so that we understand. The rules that we came up with, we said under 17, and it's under 17 that we are going to. And we also introduce online registration so that we can minimize this issue of forging documents, bringing this, bringing that. Sometimes when we said, okay, put it on manually and then give it to your coordinator will hand it over to us before we even get it, when the competition would have already started. And sometimes when we have issues of appeal, we find it difficult to deal with them. And if we could not deal with the appeals amicably, we are the very people who will come back again and start blaming them. Because you don't see me surfacing when it comes to football. It is Jammeh and the appeal team. Jammeh and the appeal team, plus so and others, they are the ones who are always surfacing. Because they are my technicians. They are the ones that I rely upon when it comes to information about the game. But when it comes to what is to be done, those kind of initiatives, I also use my head, and together with them, we sit and discuss. And we all discuss as a team and said, look, let's also try. It's high time for us to also adjust. Federation gives us money. We don't get support from anywhere when it comes to football. When it comes to football, Federation gives us money. And this year, according to the budget, it's 1.2 million that they pledged for us. Already $600,000 have been paid into our account. We're going to start. When this one starts on Saturday, school football will start when? Yes. He will, give you notice concern about the day it's going to start. Yes. All right? This one will start Saturday, and it will be playing on weekend. And our own school football will also continue. Both of them are our own. All right? School football will start the following week. So this is the scenario now, or situation as at now. And I want you people to bear with us and appreciate this as a new development, a new initiative. We have it in the pipeline. We have it in the pipeline to also come up with another age bracket. It is part of our plans. Since when we were discussing this, on the 17th, we said we are going to bring another age bracket. If you are not tired of football, we will not be tired of organizing competition for you. That is why we are there. We will organize competition for you, unless and until you tell us, look, we are interested, we are going for other things, we are not prepared now, we are not this, we are not that. The whole year, we want to make sure we bring competition for students so that they can all develop along the way. You have athletics, you have volleyball, you have basketball, you have football. Football, we don't want to have only one competition. Now that we have under 15 CAF championship, we also have our under 17, and we'll also be coming up with under 20 or under 18 or under 23 or something like that. We want to come up with that. All those things will help the federation in terms of scouting. So bear with us. These are things that the developments comes gradual, not at a go. Because if you want to bring these two competitions or three competitions together once, we may not have the funds to, fund it. Because the ministry, what the ministry gave us, I can say is that is just an administrative thing, all right? But the bulk of the funds come from here. And, whatever, people might say, but these things is all geared towards developing football. And please, 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 PE teachers, we need your usual cooperation so that at least we can continue giving you what you want in terms of the games that you definitely love most. Because this is what you have trained. You train to become PE teacher, at the same time a coach, develop talents. Tomorrow you can be proud of. Yesterday, he said he has been sharing, his athletes who are performing, doing well in other, in other, countries. And I've seen one that I was definitely very much impressed. It's from the schools. In the past, we used to have schoolboy international. Those days, am I right? Yes, those are concepts, things that we want to bring back. We want to bring back. We want to count to say, okay, X, Y, Z. This is the schoolboy international, and they will guide us to tell us what criteria can one become a schoolboy international, and we will do it. We can do it. Whatever we want, we are teachers. We can do it. All right. So whatever we want to do, with your support, we'll be able to do it. So the CAF Championship will kickstart on Saturday, and all of you, I think the participating schools are here, so we want your full cooperation. Work with us, and the rules, definitely, because the handouts sent to you, some of the rules are part and parcel of it. I think they are there. So please read the rules. Let's not go to the field and start arguing with him or others, and because now people don't insult. In fact, no, teachers don't insult now. No, they don't. If not with the introduction of this new rule, I would have seen pages full of that. But that one, it's no more. They don't do it. They don't do it. You see. So when we go there, let's cooperate with them. If you don't understand anything, you can take his number, Nyasi's number. I believe you all have Jamme, So, and others. See, you all have their numbers. But it's equally important. Take their numbers. She's also part of the female football, right? Yes. So you can take her number, take his number, and the big man also is here. Anytime you have anything, want to find out anything, please pass by and say, I want to see the technical director. I have some questions. Can you put me through? This is how we learn together. This is how we can at least understand the game. This game is very complex. Sometimes certain rules, when they are explained to me, I get confused because I know, it's not my way. But the most important thing is, if you keep on asking questions, you definitely, understand it. And if you keep on reading the rules and regulations, football rules, always, you will be able to understand fully to the max. So once again, I want to thank you. And before concluding, we promised you last time in our last press conference that after the athletics, because many schools were being banned or suspended to take part due to cheating. And we promised that we will follow it up even after the championship. And we did that. We followed it up. There are schools that we followed them up. Others, we find it very difficult to actually get information. It was very, very difficult for us. But thank God we were able to at least dug out some information from certain schools. And we are able to get that one. And I'm happy to report to you today that from our findings after the championship, athletic championship, Sifo Senior Secondary School have been found wanting of using an unqualified athlete to participate in the championship. We followed them before the competition. We had issues with them, but they denied categorically. And there were a lot of things that went, during that transpired during the period, but I will not report those things here. A lot of things were done to make sure the athlete is qualified, at least to save the image of the school. I will not report those things here. But what we concluded is that SIFO is been banned for 3 years. All right? They will not take part in any of our competition. And then also, I think there are fines attached. 50 grams. Yes. With a fine of $15,000. 3 years with a fine of $15,000. The other school that we also investigated is SL Senior Secondary School. And SL also has been found wanting for using an athlete that was wrongly transferred to SL. And then they are also banned for 3 years with a fine of $15,000. And then the other schools were still, investigations are still ongoing. I'm still popping my nose into any school that I feel suspicious of. And I have not still gathered enough information, in order to, that would qualify them to be banned from a championship. But I'll still continue. And even with the Pan-African, like I said, we'll continue. The moment it starts, we'll continue. So if you know you are not, your house is not regular very well, please withdraw. Or else, if we are found wanting, it will be something. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cisse, for those very important advices. I think those who want to continue participating in the school football association competitions will heed by your advice. But two things I noticed when we were doing the vetting of the schools for the Pan African is one is information sharing, the other is not reading the rules and regulations. I would advise first, before you enter in any competition that have rules and regulations, go through the rules and regulations first. But when we were vetting the schools, we realized that some schools registered all over 8 players. When if you have gone through the rules and regulations, you could have seen there is a minimum age criteria and an upper age limit. If you have read the rules and regulations, then that would guide you in terms of registering the players. But there are schools that didn't even read. When I contacted other schools, what I realized was the person that received the information, that received the rules and regulations and the competition manual was not the one filling the application form. This is a problem. If I am to work with people, I have to share information. Yeah. Information sharing, lack of information sharing was the reason of some of these schools being dropped from the list when we were doing the selection. So I would urge all of you now to be reading the rules and regulations of competitions before you start anything. If you understand the rules and regulations, then it will guide you. Those that receive information also are busy. Try to share the information with your colleagues. That is how it works. For me, I am the principal coordinator of this program. I am the one who usually sits in the CAF Zoom meetings. But any information I get, I have to share it with members of my team. There are instances where we have to project the rules and regulations, project the tournament manual, so that we all go through it, try to understand it, then before we serve it to schools. So that is why any one of us in the in the management team, if you contact any one of us, we will be able to give you guidelines as to what you do. So I advise you to be sharing information and reading the manual. The other thing that I need to talk about is in GFF here we said we'll develop football throughout the board. We have a project called CARM, CARM. The C stands for the development coaches, A, development of administrators, competition. Because if you look at the tournament manual, you'll see where they say development of young writers, development of young referees, young reporters, you see? Yeah, medics and everything. So they're trying to develop football across the board, not only those that are kicking. And if you look at the composition of your technical teams, they said there must be 2 student assistants. So yes, there must be 2 student assistants on the technical team, meaning not every school going to student can be a player. Others can be administrators. Others can be referees. Others can be journalists. So you see, this is how they want to develop. So I urge you, schools, to look at people. If you look at the students, there are people that can be interested in writing. Try to push them to the journalist aspect of it.